Hey my friends, what better to do on an amazing day like today in a beautiful spot than talking about anatomy. Today we'll take a look at a particular aspect of the foot. So I've got a skeleton model of a left foot. See, like almost look the same. Big toe on the same side. What we can't see when we look at our actual bones is the structure on the inside, that particular part I want to demonstrate to you, and also explore the significance for our posture, for our movement, has to do with the connection of the shin bone to the foot. So here we're at the joint where your shin bone and your ankle bone come together. So the movement at the ankle. You see, shin bone, just for your quick reference, shin bone ends up in this blob of bone here. Also, we have a blob of bone on the outside, which on closer examination of our model, we can actually see, well, that's an entirely different bone. Now, not a big worry, because in our actual leg, these bones and everything we have in the leg is quite nicely packaged and held together. So much so that in most of us, the mobility between these two bones is rather restricted. And that's what brings us to the point. We have, on close observation, rather flat outside surface on the ankle bone, and also another flat outside surface on this side of the ankle bone, matching, miraculously, that's why we're built that way, matching the flat insides of both this piece of your shin bone and the end bit of the second bone, the fibula, that then hold flat against these flat outsides. And Chris is talking about flat, 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 flat. That means for us, we have very good guidance for the movement of pointing and flexing, or in your foot, pointing, flex, point and flex, point and flex. We have no directional movement to the sides. There is no twisting. There is no side bending, only point and flex. That's why we have these specific joint setups. Now, of course, we can twist and turn our foot, but because of the relationship of your ankle bone and your shin bone fibula combination, so your lower leg bones, every movement you do with your foot will take, so every twisting and side bending motion of your foot will take the shin bone along with it. Very important, because at the top of your shin bone, that's the lower half of your knee, you see? So whatever you do with your shin bone, you already have 50% of your knee involved. That's why this is significant. Let's take a look at some practical examples. So when we stand here with 3 legs, the skeleton might 2 own ones, we'll have yet now a practical demonstration of how the movement of the foot, so any kind of twisting or side bending of the foot, influences in a practical context what the shin bone, and with that at least half of your knee, will do. When we stand, normally you can see I have sideways or twisting movements here. Mostly we'll see that in the body as a rise or fall of the arch. At the same time, when you look at my knee, arch rises, knee turns out. Arch drops, knee turns in. So the height of our arch, how well we engage and maintain our arch, actually determines which direction our knee is pointing. This can be standing, it can be a triangle pose where your leg is out in front, and again we have that ability to either like really roll out, which often happens when we lose balance, and with that also our knee turns out and we lose balance altogether because our whole weight gets thrown out to the side. But also the opposite happens in many people, where the arch drops, or the arch isn't held or isn't supported sufficiently, and with that our knee turns inwards, with consequences for how the forces conducted through the leg. You can see how my kneecap is now facing inwards, are moving into the leg, and with the way how we can hold our hips, pelvis and upper body as a result. Similarly, if we go into a position like a warrior 1 stance or even warrior 2 stance, the dropping and lowering of the arch, so the change of weight distribution and contact of the foot with the ground will direct your knee position. Now let's come back to our foot here. In the skeleton you can see that these movements in the foot are not just movements here, this joint, that just gets moved along, hence the movement on the knee. All these joints in the foot, they need to be moved and supported, so we're really depending on more than our skeleton. We're depending very strongly on the action of the muscles that support your arch and your foot. So how well you can hold your foot actively through the choice of your muscles determines the stability of your knee and the rest of your posture and balance. So I hope this explanation of the bones of the feet, their relationship to the shin bone and subsequently with the knee, which is the upper end of the same bone, is dependent on the actions of your muscles that hold the arch, and with that you have an active influence on your stability, on your balance, on your knee health. Now go try this out in your practice. I'll go home in the meantime and I'll see you next time.